Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is the day. Today is the season finale of American Horror Story Roanoke. And I don't know about you guys, but I would eat a pig's heart and sell my soul to Scathach for more episodes. Today with me is Anna. You guys
Hi.
remember Anna? Everybody loved Anna last time. So we're going to do another live stream with Anna. And guys, I'm so glad that y'all are all here with us. So, Anna, what would you like to start talking about today since it's the finale?
Well, I've got quite a few things to talk about today with you. But my first thing was, I was just remembering today that Matt Bomber is confirmed for this season. So I was just wondering, what role do you think he's going to play?
I think he will be one of the camera crew behind Lana, or
Yeah,
possibly maybe her assistant,
yeah,
something like that. I don't think he'll be. I don't think his character will be bigger than Lana Winters, I should say.
yeah. I read a few theories on the internet, and a lot of people think that he's going to be a lawyer in the court with Lee, or possibly the judge. So it's quite interesting. Is
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, now I looked at those promos, and the promos was a very pretty long-haired, long blonde-haired judge.
Yeah.
The attorney for Lee was a brunette, and I know she was a female. And I don't know if we're going to really get too much focus on Lee's trial. I really don't think that Ryan and Brad and the writers of this episode are going to want to get too deeply in that to explain it, because I think they're going to want to keep the focus on Lee and the interview with her and Lana.
Yeah, I think the whole kind of, unless it's a longer episode, I think the court process is going to be quite short and then it's going to just focus on the interview. So I'm not sure what he's going to play, but I'd like to see him as something quite interesting because I really like him as an actor in American Horror Story.
Me too. And I'm
Yeah.
so sad that he was limited to
Yeah.
this, obviously this one role. And Finn was a Polk, and that was great. I guess I need to finish the entire episode with the season finale tonight and then rewatch it again to get an actual assessment of the characters. But yeah, they certainly were unrecognizable this season.
And another thing, like a lot of people are wondering as well, if we're going to get the answer to, is do you think we're going to find out what happened to Emily? So Lee's child that went missing.
People think that that's going to be played by um Queenie. I just can't think of her. Gabrielle Sidibe. They think that
Yeah.
Gabrielle, because I believe Wikipedia reported it, but if they go back and look right now, that was taken down immediately. I really think that was just a fan, such as me, going in
Yeah.
there because at one time I manipulated IDB or whatever and Wikipedia to fit my theory and
Yeah.
spread it. Excuse me. So I think that's the same thing. I don't think that Gabrielle's going to be Emily, but I think that that might be something that Lana will dig into and she will find out about. So I do think we're going to get something of her.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure about because I'd have to watch the first few episodes back. So I'm not sure about like the time, like but maybe Queenie could be Lee, could be Emily, just with a new identity.
She could be, and a lot of people pointed out too that we did not get Queenie's backstory.
Yeah.
Unlike the other girls, we knew Madison's sort of backstory and general of Zoe and excuse me, Nan and some of the other girls, but we never really knew anything about Queenie. So it's possible she could, be the one to, that Queenie is Lee's oldest daughter, or
Yeah.
Gabrielle is playing Emily, whichever. You know, that would be that would be a really nice connection, I have to say, if that happens.
Yeah, I think that would be good connection. And do you think Lee is going to go into this interview with Lana? Do you think that she will have been charged with murder, or do you think she'll somehow manage to get away with it?
I think she's going to completely plead temporary insanity and she's going to get away
Yeah,
with it. Yep,
yeah,
absolutely. Because there was somebody who was filming when the Polks were torturing her, and all the Polks were there.
Yeah,
So it could not have been Finn or anybody else. It had to have been an outside source. And I think that that was a camera person outside of the network
yeah,
that was in that was like a cameraman working for the network that was the one filming it. And once it comes out that that happened, it's going to help Lee's case that the network kind of did this to her and put her in this
yeah,
situation, and what she's saying is true, and therefore yeah, she'll get temporary insanity, and maybe she'll just have to be in a mental asylum, possibly to be checked over. Maybe that'll be a condition, but I do believe she won't be found guilty of murder.
yeah. And also, to add, when so when Thaisa, and I don't know what the other guy was called, but that when they were getting murdered by the colony, they're like that footage said live at the top, so that whole thing was live, and Lee was obviously there, so obviously she was kind of like an accessory to murder at that point, so that will have been seen by viewers everywhere. So it's like people will have physically seen Lee like committing murder and kind of like that thing. So what I think is that she'll end up, I think all the footage is going to be found, and then she's going to be taken to court over like the murders,
Hmm.
because people will think that she's guilty after seeing it all back. And I think that she obviously, because she was possessed at the time, she's not going to remember anything. And I think I think the court will find her insane, and I think that they might possibly, this is going out there a bit with this theory, but she might be diagnosed with a split personality disorder, because she's been this killer, obviously, but she can't remember any of it. And then I think she'll either go to like a prison, or, like you said, possibly like a mental facility. And then I think Lana's going to come and interview her within that kind of like setting. But I do think that she's going to be charged with all the murders.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think they're
Yeah.
definitely going because she can't get around. It's like you said, it was
Yeah.
streaming live. Lee murdered basically the first guy, the first fan, and then she aided the ghosts in murdering the rest of them. So she was definitely there and spouting that weird, crazy butcher,
Yeah.
stuff. So I think that's just going to propel her defense theory of temporary insanity, because one thing about multiple personality is that you need to have some sort of a history. Some mental disorders, you have to have a long history of them in order to claim
Yeah.
such a thing. So I believe that she will try to go temporary insanity because you don't need history. You need that footage. I think once they take that footage and they show it and they show everybody how what she did and what she did to survive, I think people are going to love her and they're going to hate her over what she did. They're going to think, oh my God, this brave woman. And then some people are going to see murderer. So I think that's what Lana was talking about, and
Yeah.
in the promos for next week.
I thought what was interesting as well when I was watching like the promos and stuff, that Lee looks so different to like how she started out, like before like Roanoke or anything. Like she looks like the clothes she wears and like all the makeup and the hair, she just looks like a completely different person. So I'm thinking that she might come out of this and just, obviously she's going to be changed completely, but maybe she's made a lot of money out of it, and she's kind of like taken her situation and kind of spun it just to make money. Because that's kind of like, she is one of my favorite characters of all time, but that's kind of what Lana did. Like she started out as this like amazing woman that survived, and then it turned out she just wanted like, she wanted to sell books and get all this money. So I think that kind of thing's going to happen to Lee.
Lee looked very healthy in the promo for next week. I'm definitely going to
Yeah.
agree with you. That leads me to think that she might not be in the mental hospital. Maybe she'll be out by this point, because we don't
Yeah.
know how many years have fast forwarded for the season finale. So that's one thing we have to kind of, grasp on and take a guess at, is how long after the police arrived or after the end of episode 9 is episode 10 going to pick up? How
Yeah.
long is that time frame? But Lana looked pretty great. So
I know,
for
that's what I was thinking. She looks so much younger than she did in like at the end of Asylum.
she
So
does.
yeah.
I went back and I watched the end of Asylum again because I wanted to see that interview with Lana and her Hall of Fame, award and stuff such as that. And
Yeah.
I went back and I couldn't see anything about, her interviewing Lee Harris and or talking anything about anybody in regards to Roanoke or even going there. So I would assume that Lana is interviewing Lee at a point where this is after Asylum.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. And she was kind of going down that route of taking it after like her own experiences, taking interest in serial killers because I can't remember if which episode it was, but Lana was saying in an Asylum episode that she wanted to go on to write a book about who was the guy that it was in Asylum, the
Yeah,
killer, he
he
was the
was the killer.
Santa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
just
think
actually did a darn video about it. Now I can't. Lee,
Emerson, is it
yeah,
Emerson?
that's it.
Yeah,
Lee Emerson. Thank you.
yeah.
Yes. I thought maybe Shelby was a descendant of Lee because
Yeah,
unfortunately the man was a rapist and it's very easy to believe that he sired a child, unfortunately, during those back times, especially when women
yeah.
were prohibited from having abortions, even in the sake of health or rape. So it leads me to think that maybe somebody is a descendant of the show. It can't be Lee, I don't believe.
No, well, I think it could make sense to be Shelby because we saw in that switch that she's like clearly had like a psychotic streak or something because she just lashed out and completely just like beat Matt to death. So that just it could back up the theory that like her dad was a serial killer as well.
I mean, I know a lot of women who would have socked their man or
Yeah.
maybe taken a crowbar to his arm, his leg, or something just out of pure anger, but literally smashed their husband's head in over it. I mean,
Mm.
Shelby's supernatural powers, her healing process, and the things that she can do. Yeah, that was poor, poor Matt.
um, and I think it's the very last part of Asylum as well because I was watching it again recently, and at the end, Sister Jude says because it's like a flashback. She says like when you look into the eyes of evil, they're gonna look right back at you. So I think going from that, I think that because Lana's going to be opposite Lee, I think if she doesn't know already, so say Lee's like found not guilty or whatever, I think that Lana's it's going to click and Lana's going to know that she's behind it all, and somehow Lana's going to get it out of her if she hasn't already confessed that Lee is guilty of all the murders.
Well, she is guilty, definitely. She is guilty, but I think Lee's going to try to say that she's not possessed anymore by the spirit of
Yeah,
who of Scat Thatcher or whoever she I don't I guess that's where I'm also kind of confused since Shelby and Matt and Lee kind of explained a little bit about Scathitch. She's the bitch with the real power, pardon my French. It makes me wonder how that's going to correlate to Lee or to Lana, and that it makes me wonder if Lana's going to try to provoke Lee and try to provoke like the butcher out of her again, so to speak. Because remember when Sydney had that conversation with Agnes in episode 6, and he said one thing to her, and it just flipped her switch. Just gently though, just that one look she gave him, and you knew, oh my God, this woman's evil. So I think the same thing's going to happen with Lee in her interview with Lana. Lana's going to get that look from Lee, and she's like, "Oh my God!" It's like you're right. Staring into the eyes of evil. They're going to stare at you back.
yeah.
That's a
Well,
pretty great quote that you found, Anna. That's a pretty great connection.
thank you. But I was thinking as well, like Matt and obviously Lee, they were possessed by Scathitch. Does she only have like power over them when they're at Roanoke, like when they're on her grounds, or do you think like they could be anywhere, and if she wants to take control of them or possess them, that she can, or do you think it has to be?
I would assume it's stronger. if she's
Yeah.
actually on the property. I believe it's absolutely stronger, but I don't think their attachment ends just if Lee exits the property. So I
Yeah.
believe it's still with her. What do you believe?
I'm not sure because obviously Kathy wasn't actually possessed by Scathach. She'd just gone crazy after being so like caught up in the show. So
Yeah,
her like flipping the switch is different to kind of Lee. But I don't know. I think the fact that Matt was so he wanted to go back, and it just shows that there must have been like a connection even when he went away, because he was drawn back, like he felt like he had to go back. So that just like shows that wherever he was, she still had this kind of power over him. So I kind
true.
of, yeah, I feel like we're kind of agreeing on that, that it's stronger when they're there, but even when they're apart, they still feel like a connection to
E-
Scathach.
Exactly. Exactly. And when you talk about Agnes, it really makes me feel sad for her. It's sort of like
Yeah,
Iris. Iris just loved her son a little too much. And she stayed around to make sure she could help take care of him. And in this one, she's just a woman who was sort of like Jessica Lange from Freak Show. She just was a woman who wanted to be famous and who wanted to be in a famous show and have fans and get awards. And she just took this character way too seriously because she just got caught up in it all. And it's just so sad to think about that she obviously snapped and followed them to Roanoke and killed a lot
yeah,
of people because she got so caught up into it. I mean, I just didn't realize how tragic Agnes's character is up until this point that I'm live streaming with you. So I might have to actually do a character video on her after the finale because again, she's
yeah,
just, oh, that was so sad about her.
yeah. And I'd actually like to know like her backstory as well, like how she started out. I think that would be quite
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. But I was so this was last week's episode, but I was honest, at first I didn't really like Audrey, but like after she died, it just hit me that I like honestly like I found her so funny, and like I really think that she brought this kind of like selfish kind of comedy to American Horror Story, so I did quite like her. But I hope somehow she'll fit into future seasons, so like she'll come back because I did really like her.
I know. And I thought it was awesome because she said she was a nurse in a theater in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
So that kind of struck me there. So I do believe we will see her character at another point because I think Ryan and Brad are going to use her at a future point.
yeah, definitely. Um, and when I was going through some predictions today, because I was just on, I think it was on Reddit or something, but lots of people think that, so this is going back to Lee again, that the only reason she confessed to murdering Mason when she thought that she was going to die was to protect Flora, because it was actually Flora that killed Mason. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, we got to talk about this. You have just blown the show wide open, Anna. Let's talk about this. What leads you to believe this?
Okay, so there's well, it's not specifically my theory, but I think it's a really interesting one.
Mhm.
And that, so Flora at some point was possessed by Scathach, and that, so this was around the time obviously she first came to Roanoke with like Mason and everyone, and that Scathach needed a sacrifice, so she possessed Flora to kill her dad, and then when Lee went out looking for Flora. So this was the night when she left the house, and then when she came back, Mason was found. So that's how Shelby and Matt kind of thought it was Lee that did it. But she'll have found Flora like somehow like Flora will have killed Mason, and so Lee, because it's her daughter and like she's gonna protect her, um, will try to cover it up to make it look like it was fitted in with everything else around that time. So that's, and then the fact that she confessed when she thought she was going to die kind of backs up that theory as
No,
well.
exactly. Yeah. I always thought it was
Yeah.
extremely strange when that especially how she said it. Uh, I did it. Nobody else helped me. She had to make sure that she was the only one who took the blame for this whole thing. The only question that I have, and I love this idea, is how, if Scathach possessed Flora, this was before the blood moon.
Yeah.
So could this happen? Do you think maybe Flora got lost one night out in the woods or something like that? Or okay, wait, now I need to just Flora was gone. What if Flora was lost in the woods and she found Scathach, ate the pig heart, and surrendered her soul to her? That would be able to give Scathach the ability to possess Flora, absolutely. And Mason did not come until after Flora went missing, and she had been
Yeah.
missing for a good 48 hours. So that really does really hold it up. So I wonder though, but still though, if she did possess Flora to do it, why would she have killed Mason? Because it was the night before the blood moon. Or am I wrong? Was Mason killed on the blood moon? Because see, I didn't think he was.
No, I didn't think he was. I think that he was killed like the day before or something, because it was before everything started to go down and um yeah, I think that he was killed before the blood moon. But I think Scathach, regardless of whether it's the blood moon, has the ability to
Sweetheart. Okay, buddy.
um I think that she has the ability to possess anyone at any point, because the whole thing, I don't know if I'm right here, but the whole thing with her possessing Matt and making Matt fall in love with her, I think that was before the blood moon as
Mhm.
well. So I think
Good point. Okay, now we're working around this. Okay, very good. Yeah. Oh my God, I love this idea. See, even Raider does too. Wow, Anna, that's no, Raider, please don't. Yeah, that's a pretty good. Uh-oh. That's a pretty good one, Anna. We might need to
yeah.
probably shorten our live stream today, but
Yeah.
I love that idea. What made you come up with this idea? Was it that you said you read it
Yeah,
somewhere?
it was on Reddit, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I saw it and I thought it was a really interesting one to mention,
Okay.
because after reviewing it and looking through it, I think it could be true.
Okay. I do love that. Now that you got me thinking about it, I'm going to have to probably go back and look at that again.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and also maybe
One, two. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that Scathach could have got Priscilla to lead to bring Flora to her. So that's where, because yeah.
Yeah. No, that would certainly make sense. And then Lee obviously would know that her daughter was possessed and that her daughter killed. My daughter's trying to talk too. But yeah, that would definitely make sense. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my God. That's really awesome. I just never thought about that. See, that's deep. That's deep, like my Shelby is a witch theory. Did
Yeah.
Flora kill her father? That's really great. I mean,
But then I think the fact that there's only one episode left, I don't know if we're going to find out answers to everything. Because if it's going to
right.
focus around Lee, I don't know if they're going to go into, if we're going to find out that it was Flora.
I don't think we will either. Honestly don't know if we're going to get an answer. I think it's really just going to be about Lana and Lee.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let's go on ahead and let's start wrapping up the live stream because I'm going to need to start getting kids ready for school. And I have others who are trying to sing over me right now. My pretty little monsters. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. We will have Anna back. Baby, just 1 second, sweetheart. We will have Anna back here for another live stream. And don't forget, guys, weekly Wednesday live streams will be back after this week. So even though American Horror Story is over, we're not over, okay? We're going to have Anna back here. Oh, my God, Anna. You can't come on Beyond the Horror tonight, can you?
I don't think so, just because of the timing here. Like, it'll be...
And we don't want to spoil it for you because you can't watch the show tonight, right? You have to wait until tomorrow?
Yeah, I have to...
Okay.
Yeah, because... Yeah. I watch it at like 6 in the morning here.
I don't blame you.
I can't wait.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, Johnny, definitely shout out. Guys, thank you all so much for being here at the live stream. Thank you very much to Anna for being here. And guys, y'all are so awesome. Go to Burnt Toast. They're doing a live stream before the show. I think I'm doing a live stream during the finale. And then, of course, Beyond the Horror is afterwards. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. Y'all are all awesome. And again, Anna, thank you so much. You were awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.